I want to start by saying this. I'm not speaking from theory alone. I'm speaking a lot from experience. And I've wasted a lot of time. I've gone through a lot of pain, trauma, confusion, all because I spent a lot of time dating the wrong women because I never ever had standards. And I was leading and chasing through emotion, lust, and desire. And I paid the price for it. These aren't some random rules that I made up overnight. 10 of these have come from my whole entire life of experience, from lessons of what I've learned works and what doesn't work, what I think the type of woman who can take care of my children and be the person who I want to spend the rest of my life with. These are the traits that I'm looking for from now. And the other 10 has come from my best friend, who I'd arguably say is one of the smartest women that I know in my life right now. And with these two together, I wanted to get a clear, unbiased view that every single young man can actually replicate and implement into their life starting from today. Now, I'll be real, I myself, I am still single. So realistically, you have no reason to listen to me. But if you hear something that you think is logical, I highly recommend just take it on board, because even though I may be single now, the framework which I've now crafted won't only just protect my peace now, but also my peace in the future. And the amount of relationships and friendships which I've cultivated now because of the standards which I'm operating, not just for somebody who I'm looking to date, but the same standards I'm holding towards my friendships, it will drastically save you a lot of time, and it's saving me a lot of time right now. Now, these standards aren't to come and objectify and make women look like some horrible people if they don't have these standards or showing these standards. But the whole preface of this video is for you as a young man to see and know what is very, very good qualities to actually look for when dating, rather than just going out there and moving solely with your eyes only. You need to be thinking way more ahead of that. So if you're a young man who is tired of wasting time and you want to have a real, true relationship with a woman, I highly recommend listening on, because this will help you. Now, I'm going to be starting straight off the top of the list. I'm going to start with her 10 and then move on to my 10, because I just asked her first. So with the preference for this, when I asked her for her list, essentially what she has is a list of 10, or a bigger list for what she's looking for when dating a man. So I said to her, okay, I'll read that list and then flip it so that when I'm talking to other people about it, preferably men about it, then I can have it flipped and then I can just talk about it from a men's perspective. So from the top, it was a woman of God. Now, this is self-explanatory if you're religious, but if you aren't religious, then you won't understand why this is so important. And I was talking to one of my friends about this yesterday, and I say that as men who are trying to seek after God, the smartest thing that you can possibly do is also go with a woman who's also seeking after God. And one of the main reasons why is because it is accountability. She is currently being held accountable, and I myself am being held accountable to God. We're being held accountable to somebody way higher than ourselves. From having somebody above you, from having God above you, it means that when you take actions, now you have to not just think about yourself. You aren't just thinking, okay, cool, I want to have this desire today, I want to do this today. You are now having to also think about, okay, I have to also take respect. I'm not trying to hurt God. I'm not trying to do any of these things. Like, God is a loving God. I know for a fact if I go through and sin, it's not just going to be me who's going to feel it, it's also Him. So from seeking after a woman who also thinks like that and is saying to herself, okay, I may have the desire to do this now, but I understand that it will only damage the relationship which I have with God. It will save you, because now she has somebody who's basically watching her all the time. The same thing with us as men. We have somebody who's watching us all the time. So easily you can go do whatever you want. But if you know that you're being held accountable by somebody above you, then you're less likely to do certain actions. Because if you always think, hold on a minute, before I do this, before you go and think about, I don't know, masturbating, or go and fornicating outside of marriage, having sex outside of marriage, all these sorts of things, you'll be like, hold on a minute, no, God can see this. And that helps me as a man to stay accountable. So I understand that on the flip side, it'll also be that same thing, where the woman that I'm seeking after, if she is going to avoid doing those sorts of things that the world see is normal, then she's most likely going to be seeking after God. Number two is that she communicates her thoughts, feelings, needs, and emotions in a healthy manner. This is crucial because imagine you are going to spend the rest of your life with somebody and they cannot communicate their thoughts, feelings, needs, and emotions in a healthy manner. That every single time it comes to have a conversation about something, it ends up in a toxic, heated argument. There's only so long you can last with that. And I think you can see those signs from before you start actually taking things fully committed. And you have to, once you siphon it out, once you see that, okay, you can never actually talk or address something without a full-blown argument going through, that is your sign to run. Because there is no point committing yourself to somebody who you cannot communicate with correctly. Because it will just be every single time a toxic conversation and just messing up the whole entire flow. Number three, so she has put here, has had therapy or is willing to go through therapy. Now, she has gone through therapy, so it makes sense why she included this. And since I became friends with her, I've actually started to see therapy as more as something that is, it's like, for example, if you go to a gym, and when you start going to the gym, you can have a personal trainer who helps you in the gym. You can take the journey by yourself and train by yourself, like, for example, like I have. But I probably would have, the first couple of, let's say 2 to 3 years, if I had a personal trainer, would have probably been way better, because I wouldn't have wasted a lot of time trying to learn the form, going through the injuries, having the wrong diet, all these sorts of things. And that's what therapy essentially is the fact that you have certain thoughts that you're struggling to get through. So you have a therapist there who's able to help you to go through those thoughts. Obviously, not saying you have to be going through 5 to 10 years as a lot of people do through therapy, but going through the therapy to be able to unwind and unload a lot of the stress and traumas that you have gone through. And she's added that because going through and dating somebody, there's a lot of work that is necessary, because when you become a partner with this person, you are going to hear these traumas, these pains, all these sorts of things. And if they haven't worked through them and all of those layers of pain are still there underneath her skin, then it's you who's going to have to do the unraveling and go through it. Now, of course, it's going to be impossible that everything has been gone through with the therapist, but there are certain things that you would want her to at least have an understanding of. Like, for example, as men, we may have gone through breakups and we don't understand why certain things happen. And it's just good to be able to offload that emotion onto somebody else, to hear another point of view, to be like, okay, in this situation where you thought was actually all completely you, no, there's actually more to play, and it's not all your fault. And hearing that can actually go so far. So I can completely understand why she would say they have to have gone through therapy. And I actually recommend that the person has either gone through therapy or they're willing to go through therapy, because I know, for example, myself, when I want, eventually I will go through therapy. And additionally, I think that it's also important that the person who I am with, me and her can go to therapy together, because it's good that we can just go through and build that relationship where, as I spoke about the point prior, that we can communicate our thoughts, feelings, and emotions in a healthy environment together. And I think the main issue as well with a lot of young men is that therapy has been demonized. Like, therapy has been seen as weak, or it's something that you shouldn't do. But trust me, therapy does way more than that. And it is so crucial, and it's heartbreaking. A lot of people don't go to therapy. I myself, I don't go to therapy, but I understand for a fact, like, I think I'm blessed because I have a lot of friendships where I can treat it as therapy, and I have a circle which I can treat as therapy. Not saying, once again, that I won't go to therapy, because I'll most likely will. The time will come when I can go through and do it. But if you don't have the time, just having a circle to be able to do it. But if you don't have a circle to do it, then I highly recommend even you yourself go to therapy, and also be having a partner who is also willing to do that. Number 4, carry the same core values as me: God, church, and family. Now, this is actually very, very important. I wanted to make a video about this on my TikTok. And the whole preface of this is that I think equally as important to submission is compatibility. So a lot of people are like, they want to have a submissive woman, they want someone to just submit underneath them and do everything that they say. Sure, okay. But my issue with that is, you can have somebody who submits, but you aren't compatible in any degree. Now, the issue with that is, you'll get bored of that person. You won't be able to speak to that person. Yeah, you could have sex, do all these sorts of things. She'll do anything you say. But the issue is that if they aren't compatible to you, so let's say, for example, as a man, you like to, I don't know, you like to watch football and you like to play football. You like to talk about history, talk about politics, talk about geography. You also like to go to a certain sport. You have a certain taste of food that you enjoy. It feels amazing to be able to have somebody who you can share all these things with. But imagine a person who you're with, you can't share any of that with. The main issue is that you're going to want to find somebody else who you can share it with, whether it's a group of guys or a group of friends who you spend time with, or you're going to do that with another woman. And the issue is, at that point in time, you're cheating with your wife. So for me personally, the best person that I'm going to look for is not just submission, someone who can actually submit to me, but additionally someone who's completely compatible with me, someone who likes what I like, wants to do the things that I also want to do. Because then, let's say, for example, I want to go, I don't know, play basketball, and my girl can also play basketball. Imagine that life. Imagine, as a guy, you said you want to play football, and your girl also comes and plays football. And she's not terrible. She's not just sitting there doing nothing. She can actually play. Now, of course, yeah, I'm not trying to say you have to date a professional footballer, but even the willingness to want to play as well and to learn is amazing. Like, for example, I love playing chess. If my girlfriend can play chess, that's 10. That's plus 10 points, because now I can play my favorite game with my favorite person. So I also say, try and find somebody, as she said, who has the same core values as you. Somebody who is actually completely compatible with you. Because let's say, for example, you're a Christian and you say, I'm going to go to church on Sunday. And she says, why? She says, okay, for example, you're serving in a ministry. You have to go on Wednesday for a ministry meeting. She says, why? You don't need to be going through that stress. There's no point. If you are a young man looking to date, especially if you're somebody who's in ministry or you're seeking after God, don't waste your time on those sorts of relationships. It's not going to go far. Number 5, has a healthy relationship with sex, vulnerability on sex as a topic as a whole. Now, the main reason why we was discussing this part is because I think even young men, a lot of young men struggle with being vulnerable about sex. Like, for example, they may be struggling with pornography, masturbation, or even just the way that they view sex. And when you get a partner, you yourself need to be able to be vulnerable to be able to speak to this person about this situation. And if you date somebody who isn't vulnerable about speaking like this, the main issue is that that's when these weird things like these crazy kinks start coming out of nowhere, and these crazy desires aren't being met because it was never spoken about from day one. And it is very, very, very important that you try to have a conversation with this when things start getting more seriously. Now, I've spoken about this in my other video when I spoke about this, is the fact that you don't need to be seeing these standards and these non-negotiables from day one. But the second, before you actually start to make things completely seriously, where you are completely exclusive to this person, I highly recommend try and see as many of these as possible, because if you now start taking this person seriously and you see none of these traits, it's only you that's going to be messed up. But yes, staying vulnerable on the topic about sex. If somebody is battling with all of these sorts of things internally and you know nothing about it, that's when you start seeing, I don't know, the girls who are married, but then they're having like a threesome even though they're married. Or you start seeing the husband who sits in the cock chair and watches their wife doing all this madness. It's when you have all of these topics, these desires that are hidden inside of you about sex, but you can't speak to anybody about it. And if you're going to marry somebody, you want to both be able to actually sit there, not be cringed out, and actually have a complete adult conversation about this. Because at the end of the day, both of you need that. Number 6, she added business minded. Now, obviously, that is for when she's looking at a man. Now, as a man, I don't think you need to find somebody, a woman, who is completely business minded, but I want to switch out the word business with goal orientated. So she's not just doing nothing. She actually has something that she wants to aspire for, whether she wants to become a lawyer, a doctor. Yes, she's also business minded, but she's striving towards something. She's not just wasting her time. She is indulging in something that's making her grow as a person, because you want to be with somebody around like that. Now, a lot of men are out there saying, nah, they want to have a fully submissive woman who doesn't do anything. She just stays pretty, she stays at home. Of course, lovely, amazing. For me personally, as somebody who is striving for a business, to actually grow my business as well, I think you will struggle a lot to be with a woman who doesn't get it at all, like in the slightest. She doesn't understand chasing after a goal at all. Because even, for example, I was with my friend about this yesterday, it is that trade-off. So let's say, for example, you're dating a woman who doesn't understand the grind in the slightest. When you're staying up as a man around past 11, 12, 1 to get the work done, because you need to get that work done, and she comes in and says, come to bed, what are you doing? There's no point, it's not worth it, come spend time with me. If you date someone who doesn't understand that, doesn't understand the grind, in her mind, that makes full sense. So if you say, no, I need to do this because of this, it's only going to hurt her feelings. But if you are dating somebody or marrying somebody who understands the grind, then not only one, she can actually be there with you doing the work, but additionally, she's like, no, I get it. So she's going to allow you to actually be in that environment where you can have a peace of mind that, no, she is not crashing out. She is not angry because I'm doing this. She understands. And for me personally, that is exactly what I'm looking for, because I don't want to just be with somebody who doesn't understand it in the slightest, because I know the stress that can come from that. And essentially saying, goal orientated, that she's striving towards something. Now, of course, when me and her get married, and by the grace of God, I'll be in the financial position which I'm striving for, she won't have to work if she doesn't want to. But if she does want to, that is all by her means. But for me, it is taking somebody like that who's goal orientated and saying, I'm now going to be able to give you the finances to shift your mind from having to focus on that to doing anything else that you want to do, but continuously be striving afterwards something. Whether that is you want to have a specific physique you want to achieve, or you have a specific goal with, I don't know, with social media, something, whatever it may be doing, you want to achieve that, go after that. But ensure that you're doing something, that you don't just rot in every day doing nothing. Even, for example, once you have kids, her goal was to be becoming the best mother in the world. Whatever that may be, as long as she's striving towards a goal, for me, that is a very, very, very important non-negotiable. Number 7, truly desires me and me only. Now, this is self-explanatory, exclusivity. You don't want to be with somebody who is, I think it's polygamous, who wants to just be with multiple people. You don't want that. Trust me, you don't want that. Number 8, she is in her feminine energy. Now, as a man, you understand what masculine energy looks like. So flip that. And if you are somebody who hasn't spent, if you're a man and you haven't spent any time with an actual feminine woman, I will struggle to describe this, but it's an energy which, as men, we just naturally yearn for. And you will understand what that's like. If you're with a woman and she is just being stush, she doesn't want to spend any time with you, she is just trying to act bougie, all these sorts of things, you will understand she's not exerting her feminine energy on you. She doesn't want to be with you. And sadly, it's the truth, that's the reality. So once you start recognizing that she's not, I don't know, she's not happy to see you, she's not going out her way to consistently message you, she's not checking up on you, she's not asking if you've eaten, all these sorts of things, don't waste your time, move on, because she's probably doing it for somebody else. And if she's not, then none of you guys should even be worrying about that, because there's multiple women out there who will be doing that for you. Number 9, has a vision and a purpose for her life. Now this also links to number 6 about being goal orientated, but once again, she has a vision. She's not just saying in the next 5 years, I'm going to be, I don't know, in Miami in a strip club doing madness. She's not thinking about that. She's saying, okay, in the next 5 to 10 years, I want to potentially have kids. I want us to live in this location. I want my life to look like this. I want us to be in this financial situation, all these sorts of things. Having a purpose and a goal for her life. Maybe she wants to be serving in the ministry, whatever it may be doing. Stuff like that. And number 10, someone who you will feel safe with. Now, when I read this, I laughed a bit and I said to her, as men, do we even care about if we're safe around our women? And I was like, yes, we do. So that was a stupid statement I just made, because I thought about it and said, imagine you are with the woman who's been notoriously known for setting up men, getting them stabbed, getting them shot, or you're the woman who doesn't care about you, and at any given point, at any given day, she could just divorce you and take 50% of your money. As a man, in the back of your mind, that's just going, you can't have no peace. You won't ever think clearly. But if you're with somebody who makes you feel safe, who makes you feel like you can speak to this person about anything, you can come to them about anything, and everything you say to this person is safe, you actually truly want to be with somebody like that. So whenever you're dating somebody, or it is a friend and you are wanting to be around these people, ensure you truly feel safe around these people, especially when it comes to point number 5 about the vulnerability on sex. You can't speak about these sorts of things, and you can't communicate your thoughts clearly to somebody if you don't feel safe around them. Now that was her 10. Now we're going to move on to my 10. So what I tried to do with my 10 non-negotiables was give completely different point of views from what she gave. But then also, you've just now heard what a woman will be looking for in a man, if you flip it. But then also, now I flipped it and gave it to you as men to look for women. Now I'm going to be giving it from my point of view. This is more linked to me as a person. So if you are like me, you will understand why. But then additionally, these are like very, very important. So health and fitness in check. I'm somebody who is very, very big on health, because I feel like, not even I feel like, it's just a genuine fact. Your fitness, your health, crucial. If I'm going to marry a woman and she's going to be the mother of my children, but she doesn't care about her health, like if you go around and see in America, I don't know the actual term for it, but I'm going to call it secondary genetics, where your parents, if their eating habits are terrible and they don't care about health, they don't go to the gym, then you as a child, you'll most likely raise up and become just like them. You'll most likely not care about going to the gym. You won't care about your health. You won't care about any of these things. But me, myself, as a person, I know that I care about that right now. And I know for a fact I'll care for the rest of my life. So I need to also be married to somebody who also cares about that, because I don't want us to have a child together and I'm saying no McDonald's and she's saying yes McDonald's. Now, of course, that's not saying my kids will never eat McDonald's, but I'll prefer if we, especially at the point we're making that much money, no, McDonald's never, unless it's like really, really sticky and it's the only thing we can eat in a location. But I'll prefer us to be able to eat healthy majority of the time, so that they're raised up with a good habit of eating healthy. And additionally, that's talking about with kids, but even herself. If she's not taking care of her mind, her body, her soul, all these sorts of things, it's going to be a big struggle. A healthy mind is a healthy body, and a healthy body is a healthy mind. So if her body's not intact, if she's eating terrible food, you can only imagine what her mental state is like. Like myself, what did I eat this morning? I didn't eat a lot, but I ate a carb. I ate a bit of carbs first thing in the morning. My brain is even foggy right now. I'm struggling to think clear. Now imagine there's somebody who's been only eating carbs and terrible food for the past 10 years, and then you decide to go and marry that person. It's just going to be a lot of stress. Their health has to be in check. Number 2 is slightly out of the loop with social media. Now, the main reason why I've said this part is because I think social media is only getting worse and worse and worse, especially on the women's side. So I've been seeing a lot, because for my business, obviously, we work with women in the hair industry. I'm seeing a lot that gets put on the Women For You page. And the issue with this is that it is completely different to like what men see. Like, yes, men do see the bad sides of dating, all these sorts of things. But even, for example, with some of the girlfriends that I have as well, they be reposting some of the maddest things. I'm like, this is crazy. Like, they will vocalize hating men online, and then you'll click the video, and the video will also have 600,000 likes, and it might have, I don't know, 10,000 comments, and at least 9,000 of them are women who agree and saying, yeah, they hate men, all sorts of things. Now, as a woman, when you're seeing that online, it will just continuously feed this innate thing inside of you that is making you say, hold on a minute, what if they're right? Okay, maybe I should hate men. And you could be someone who doesn't hate men. But if you consistently keep seeing that thing on repeat, on repeat, on repeat, it will make you start thinking like that. It will start thinking promiscuity is correct. Start thinking like abortion is correct. All these sorts of things. So for me, no, she got to be out of the loop as much as possible. Because I know myself, I try to stay out of the loop as well. I don't want to really see red pill, black pill, all these sorts of things. I don't want to see any of that. And I wouldn't want to be with somebody who sees that consistently, because it will just sow seeds of confusion inside of our relationship. So I don't want to handle with that. So I highly recommend, guys, don't even handle that. Number 3, she has hobbies that push her forward. Reading, journaling, painting, etc. Hobbies that push her forward, because I know for myself, I have a lot of hobbies, and those hobbies help me out a lot to be able to exert a lot of energy and to make my mind just be stimulated. Now, if you don't have any hobbies, one of my other quotes that I want to link in is that an idle mind is the devil's playground. Now, of course, we're going to be working towards our business. Well, as a man, I'm working towards my business. I don't know what she'll be doing, but let's say she does work towards this or whatever. I know for a fact that when I have the free time, I'm not just trying to just do nothing. I want to be doing something that's more fun and stimulating equally as well, that pushes me forward. For example, like playing chess. For example, like reading. Going to the gym, not really a hobby, but let's say going to the gym. Learning the saxophone, playing basketball, doing all these sorts of things. That's the type of hobbies that I like. So I would also want her to equally have hobbies that push her forward. Whether she's reading, whether she does track and field running, I don't know, whatever it may be. Whether she does acting, singing, I don't matter. As long as she's doing a hobby that enables her to continuously grow as a person. Because if not, what else are people going to be doing? Just sitting there, doom scrolling on their phone, wasting time. And this links back to being like, if you have no hobbies, it makes sense why you'd stay inside the social media loop, because you have nothing else to do. Sitting there watching Netflix all day, watching TV all day, watching YouTube all day, social media all day. If you have no hobbies, it makes sense why you are just doing nothing with your time. And me personally, that is a terrible trait, and I will not want to be with somebody like that. So I highly recommend, guys, don't also try to be with somebody who has no hobbies. Number 4, has a healthy relationship with her family. And I said the more family members, the merrier. Now, the reason why I think this is crucial, okay, I'm actually going to link on the fact about, that's why the reason why I said the more family members, the merrier, is because I understand that some people's family situations are pretty different. Like, some people have grown up in families that they have gone through years and years of negatively reinforced behaviors where they think it's okay to do certain things, and you as the person has come away from that, and you understand that these aren't things that I want to be around. Now, let's say somebody has their family, the whole entire family is in a cartel. Well, come on. If you're not somebody who wants to be in a cartel, it makes sense why you want to avoid those people. So I understand that. That's why I've said the more family members, the merrier. Because if somebody's able to have a healthy relationship with their whole entire family, it just makes the integration so much better as well, because I'm not just going to be able to see her character from what I see. I can speak to her mum and hear about her character from my mum. I can speak to her, let's say her brother, and speak to her brother about her character. Speak to her sister about her character. I can speak to her dad about her character. The more family members that she has, the merrier, because the more people who you can actually learn about her through, alongside of that, you can actually, because if you marry somebody, you're not just marrying just her alone, you're marrying her whole entire family. You're going to be spending a lot of time with the whole entire family. You're being integrated into their family. So you're going to want to know these things before, I don't know, you go and meet her family and once again, they're all in the cartel and they're chopping your head off. You don't need that stress, man. You don't need that stress at all. So the more family members that she is close with and she has a healthy relationship with, the more of them you're going to actually meet. And also, the more likely is that it's just going to be an amazing, normal relationship that you're able to manage without having bare of these crazy people in your family chasing after you, because you don't need that stress. And additionally, even other than that, is the fact that I think when somebody has a healthy relationship with their family, they are going to exert way more traits that are going to help out down the line than if they didn't. Like, for example, one of my friends, she's an older sister, and sadly, this is also a sad part because she didn't really get to be a child herself, but she has grown up a lot because she is basically being the mum to her younger sister as well. Like, I think one thing that helps me a lot is the fact that I have a younger sister. From having a younger sister, I feel like I'm the dad to my younger sister, even though I'm not, but I feel like it. And mentally, I've had to also grow up faster to be able to fulfill that role. Because when you are an older sibling, you're not the parent, but you do things that feel like you're fulfilling a parent's shoes. So when it's now your turn, you have way more exposure. You've gone through certain things. If you're you're 19, and you're from 19 already changing your little sister's diaper or something like that, then by the time you become a parent, it's just going to be easy because you've already done this. You've had a lot of exposure to all these sorts of things. So for me, once again, the healthier her relationship with her family, the better. Number 5. She respects you and your time. No long replies unexplained, no no-shows or cancellations without explanation, and they can't be frequent. So I think one thing that I've seen a lot in today's society has become so normalized that, oh, you don't owe anybody anything. You can just give any response whenever you feel like it. And that's also true. You don't have to give false replies to people. But for me, if you are trying to date somebody, there is no reason why you should be playing this game where you are airing somebody for a day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, a week, because all it's doing is just sowing negative seeds inside of a relationship already. And for me personally, especially in the world of business, speed is everything. So the more that you delay this response, the more likely I'm just going to be like, you know what, this is not even worth my time. So for me personally, once you start seeing these signs, especially cancellations, if they're cancelling every single week with no real reason, don't waste your time. It's clear they don't want to see you. It's clear they don't want to spend no time with you. If not, it's clear they don't respect you. And if they don't respect you, move on, because there's no point you trying to force somebody to respect you when there are people out there who respect you for free. Number 6, she's excited to be around you. No stush energy or trying to act nonchalant shows you how much she appreciates you. And I promise you, women will do this for you. And I think a lot of men have seen, once again, who are also on the social media loop, you see that, okay, there are no good women out there. Women don't want to spend no time with men. It's rubbish. I promise you, women want to do that. It's just the fact that, also, I'm not going to blame women and say it's all their fault, because I think as men, we also play a very, very, very important role inside of this. But I think that when you see this, when you notice that they aren't trying to show this energy around you, it's just a sign that it's your turn to move on. It is literally your turn to move on, because somebody else will be receiving that energy from her. And when a woman does like you, they will literally let you know, no. Not even just like you, I'm not even just talking about in dating, by the way. Even as friends. If a woman wants to be friends with you, you will literally see that energy come through. Like, I've had so many close friendships with women, and they just show this energy. Like, they will get you gifts because they're friends. Literally, just because they want to. Just because they can. They will want to spend time with you. They'll check up on, have you eaten? Like, this is not even about them trying to date you. This is just the natural energy that feminine energy will come with. It's about nurturing and ensuring that the people that they spend time with actually are good. Like, I have friends who, they will go through and happily, they'll waste their whole entire day. And I'm going to say waste because that's me saying it as a man. But they'll waste their whole entire day, disregard all the things they need to do just to ensure everybody who they know has been prayed for, has been fed, has had a conversation spoken to, just because that's the type of, that's what women like to do. Now, sadly, that's not for every single woman inside the world. I think it's definitely getting worse and worse inside the West. At least for my story, it's not really like that by the grace of God. But just ensuring that you surround yourself in these environments where these women thrive. Like in a church, there's most likely going to be happening in a church. It's like SPAC Nation and stuff like that. But ensure you're in a good church, because you will see these behaviors. And when you see these traits, spend time with those people, because those people you want to be around. Number 7. Now, this is very, very, very important. She respects your finances. And I've added, until titles, your money is your money. You can pay for things and still treat her though. And I think this is the psyop. A lot of guys think that, and this is one reason actually I say, go in through friendship rather than going through just straight trying to date. I think when a lot of us as men experience loneliness, whatever you see, you try to grab and just go full bases with that person. And that's only going to do way more damage than anything. So the best thing you can do is just have friendships. Not friends that you're just saying to myself, okay, I'm only going to be friends with her, so eventually I can have sex with her or date her. That's not the framing. You go in just trying to have friendships. And from just trying to have these friendships, eventually you'll start noticing, okay, this person is actually fulfilling a lot of these qualities which I'm looking for. And then you start dating that person, and that's the person you go exclusive with. That's the route that I personally think is the best route. And the reason why this is also, I think, is the best route is because if you are friends with somebody and you as friends go out to dinner, you're less entitled to have to pay for this dinner because you're going out as friends. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't pay for the dinner, because I also think that sometimes it's good to actually treat this person. Additionally, like I said, treat them, buy gifts, do these sorts of things. If they say, for example, they like flowers, buy them flowers. Why not? Just be doing these sorts of things, because also this is a sidetrack, but about generosity. And I think me, myself, especially with my friends, like my girlfriends, they are very, very, very generous with me because I'm also very, very generous with them. Like, for example, my friend, she got me, if you're not from the UK, you might not know what this is, but David Lloyd's, a David Lloyd's membership for the month because she works there. And I said, okay, then when are you going on holiday for Christmas? She let me know the date, and I said, okay, then cool. I bought her a whole gift bag, flowers, chocolate, sweets, and gave it to her because I understand that it was a generous act that she gave to me. Now I want to give a form of generosity back for her. Another thing is that when I go out there as well to David Lloyd's to get food, because if you're a David Lloyd employee, they give you 50% off food. I'll say to her, can I order food through her app? She'll order it through her app. I'll say, send me your bank account details. She'll say no. So there's this level of generosity that I was like, you know what, yeah, nah, this is not going to happen. I'm also wanted to treat you back with gifts. But once again, this shows you the fact that, what was the point of me saying this? Yeah, respecting your finances. Treat them, because they will also treat you back. It's only once you start to go exclusive, then you can start saying, okay, cool, I want to provide the whole thing for you, provide everything, I want to give you a certain allowance, all these sorts of things. But that's only once it becomes exclusive. But prior to that, when you are friends, if she respects that your money is your money, that is someone that you can actually start thinking about potentially taking more seriously. Because when you start dating this person, they won't feel crazy entitled. Let's say you had a 10K month, they're not entitled to thinking, okay, all that 10K is mine as well. They might just be thinking, whatever you're giving me, it's a pleasure. Like, you don't have to provide for my whole entire life. Well, eventually that's the goal to get to once you've married this person. But even just trying to provide, like, one thing that I love the most was that a guy was like, oh, guys, if you want to have 100K or 50K, 100K months, give your woman an allowance. Make sure she is taken care of, because if she's peaceful, then you'll be peaceful. If you're making, I don't know, 100K a month, or you're making 50K a month, give her a 5K a month allowance. And I went to the comments, and one of the women was like, oh, it's not even if you make 50K and you give them 5K. Even if you make 8K and you give her £100, if whatever you have to give and you give something, it is the thought that matters. And I think for me, becoming closer friends with a lot of women, I say a lot, maybe about one or two, I've been able to actually understand that it's actually the thought. The thought, as men, we don't really think about this, but the thought goes so far, like extremely far. Just being able to say that I went to the corner shop and I got you these flowers because you've told me your favorite color is red. That goes so far. That's like buying a car. That's like a woman buying a car for a man. It's that level of thought. They're like, you went to this corner shop and you thought about me and you bought me these flowers. It goes so far. So once you see that she respects your finances, that is a quality that you definitely want to start looking at and saying, okay, you're leaning closer and this is non-negotiable. Number 8, she has accountability. If she has messed up, she'll take ownership of that mess up. Now, I think this is one of the funniest things that I actually started to realize. And I saw a video where it was like, 100 men versus love. When it's like 100 men versus one gorilla, 100 men versus love, and then 100 women versus accountability. Like, it's a known thing that if a woman messes up, she won't take accountability. But the thing about it is that there are women out there who will do that, who will be like, no, I messed up, that's on me. When you see that trait, don't even walk, run. And start realizing, okay, I'm going to have to actually take you way more seriously, because it is rare to find a woman like that. But if you do find a woman like that, treat her like the woman that she deserves to be treated like. Number 9, she is teachable and humble. If she is ill-informed on a topic, she will study before giving you a biased opinion. Now, this is very, very crucial once again, because I think that nowadays, everyone's ego is through the roof. And one of the things that I try to also teach from my channel is the fact that we all know nothing. And the worst thing is it's what we don't know which will continuously harm us. And we think that we know a lot, but realistically, we don't know a lot. So being able to find somebody who also understands that understands that, no, if I don't know something, rather than giving a biased opinion, let me actually humble myself to be teachable about this topic so that I can grow as a person. That is who you want to be with. And there's a couple of my friendships where we've been speaking about certain things and they're like, no, I don't know about this. So actually, you know what? Let me actually sit back and listen. And if not, I'm also going to go back and do the studying to be able to actually have this conversation again. Also, I can also be informed on this topic. And that is one of the most attractive things as a man you should be looking for in a woman. And additionally, it is something that can last for the majority of your life. Imagine you go 10 years down the line or 15 years down the line and they still have this trait about them. They're still teachable and they still can remain humble. And you've done vigorous amounts of hours of studying towards this one specific thing. And rather than going back and forth for 2 hours and arguing about a pointless conversation, she's like, you know what, no, from the beginning, no, you're right. Let me actually listen to this. And you're able to educate and you guys work together to find the correct solution. That is the picture perfect dream. So find that trait. Once again, sprint, don't run. Sprint, don't walk. Number 10, which is the final one, is she has healed from past relationships / she is working to heal from past traumas. Now, the reason why I've added this one in is because nowadays it has become so normalized to keep exes and keep past relationships in the background just in case. But the most mature thing you can do is let that person completely go so that you can actually heal from that to be able to move on. Rather than just lingering on and keeping this person in the back pocket, completely cutting that person off and ensuring that you do the work necessary to become a better version of yourself to be able to be with somebody else is crucial to me. Now, I added the second part, which is they are working towards healing from past traumas, because I think healing from past relationships and healing from past traumas are two different things. From past relationships, like, okay, I was just with this person. Now I'm trying to heal from the amount of time that I was spending with this person, the amount of how comfortable it was being with somebody to now being alone. I think the traumas is like, okay, I've actually gone through this, and it is not just when I think about it, it's like a quick thought that upsets me. It's like, no, if I think about this, it messes me up for like a week and I'm sitting there crying. And I would love for them to be working through getting completely out through all of that. But for me, non-negotiable is healed from past traumas where they have disregard, like you could say the ex's name means nothing, or they don't even think about their ex, they don't have no contact, none of that stuff. Because you don't want to be the person who has to come and now pick up all that luggage and try to sort it out. And I highly recommend just don't do it, because there are people out there who will do the work. Or even better, when you go through and start being friends, you can actually, if it's a friend, you can be with them whilst they're going through and doing the work, and you can actually recommend them to do the work, because then at that point in time you are sort of working together. I was going to say crafting, that was going to sound extremely weird, but working together to be able to become more compatible for each other. Now, those are my 20 non-negotiables when dating, and I thank you guys for watching all the way to the end of the video. Now, I'm not going to sell you anything. I have nothing to sell you. I only have one ask, which is subscribe to the channel, because then that lets me know, one, you enjoyed this video, but then two, will also help the channel to grow even further. So I hope you guys enjoyed this evening.